What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with our annual MLB Top 100 player re-rank going into the year, and it's going to be our first MLB video of the year. But before I get into it, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button down below to get us to 500 subscribers, where I will be doing a giveaway, and it's going to be a big one, so make sure you guys are subscribed to our channel. Starting at 100, just like in the MLB Network ratings, we got Giancarlo Stanton. I'm surprised he was on this list, and I think they just threw him on there because he's a big name in a big market. But Stanton did hit 31 home runs with 78 RBIs, but if he can stay healthy, he is on track to at least be a 40 home run, 100 RBI guy. And I think that's why he is on the rankings, because of that optimism. 99, we got Eloy Jimenez, and I don't see what MLB Network was seeing with the higher ranking. I have him here at 99. He is a good player, but he just needs to stay healthy. I don't think he's played over 100 games in his career in one season. And until he can prove that to me, he's going to be towards the bottom of the barrel. But when he is on the field, he is very electric and ignites that White Sox offense. 98, I have Logan Webb. Very good year last year, 2.9 ERA, 163 Ks. Whip could be a little better compared to the top tier pitchers, but he can't complain from the Giants. He's going to be their ace moving forward, and if he can have a repeat year of last year, the Giants will for sure take that. 97, Yandy Diaz, which I am a big fan of. He is a great hitter for the Rays, just your typical on-base guy, gets the job done and whatnot. That OBP of over 400 is very good, and he's a good complement guy around some of their power hitters, and that's why I like Yandy Diaz. 96, you got Adolis Garcia. He had a very good year last year after the rookie year. Hitting 27 home runs, over 100 RBIs, 25 stolen base. So he is in that 25 and 25 club. And he is going to be a big piece for the Rangers if they really want to make this year possibly a run for the playoffs. He's going to have to put up another great year. 95, I got Joe Musgrove, and unfortunately, he is hurt right now after dropping the weight on his toe, so that is a big step back for not just him, but the Padres rotation as well. But when he is on the field, you can see by those stats, he is an excellent pitcher. Really turned his career around after a few down years, went to San Diego and just found it. And ever since then, he has been a great piece for that Padres rotation. 94, we got Alejandro Kirk, a catcher for the Blue Jays, which is expected to take on a bigger role, even with Dalton Varsho now there. And last year, I don't think is going to be a fluke. Played in 140 games, hitting almost 300, and I just think he's a good solid piece behind Bichette and Vladdy, and he can really keep pitchers on their toes, with his sneaky power. 93, I have Christian Walker, a little lower than MLB Network has him, but I do think if his average was at least 260 putting up these numbers, he would definitely be higher for me. But everything's about the long ball now, and I can respect it, but I also don't like it just because, if you go up there and swing and miss 100 times, but you hit 30 home runs, and it's like, well, I guess you're good. So, it is what it is, but the Diamondbacks are a team to watch with some sneaky good young talent, and Christian Walker is one of those guys. 92, you got Rhys Hoskins, who, led a team to the World Series last year, struggled middle of the season in the big months, June, July, August, struggled, but then really found it in September, and then the postseason as well. And he is a great name on this list. I think he can have another great year for the Phils. 91, Darvish checks in, and he is another great piece for that Padres rotation. And, it looked like he was going to lose it and probably almost, be just a back-end rotation guy, but he found it as well in San Diego and, signing to the big contract and whatnot. But he is going to be a great pitcher for the Padres this upcoming year. 90, I have Luis Robert. Same thing. He is not a healthy player for the White Sox, just like Eloy Jimenez. And if he can stay healthy, both of those can stay healthy, these guys will for sure be on my rankings a lot higher next year. But until I see them do that, I can't really put them up there. 89, I have Ty France, staying put where he normally was. Very solid year last year, coming out of nowhere. And, he really was a good piece for the Mariners, in that lineup around Julio. And he is going to be a good complementary piece moving forward. 88, I have Dalton Varsho, who I talked about briefly. Got traded from Arizona to Toronto, and I love this trade for Toronto. Even with their influx of catchers, they see him probably playing the outfield more than less. And I just think that this is going to be one of those trades in the offseason that's going to pan out for him immediately because he's a lefty bat. And they didn't really have too much of that last year in Toronto, and that's definitely going to keep the lineup more balanced. So I love this move by the Blue Jays, and Varsho definitely deserving of the top 100 ranking. 87, I have Tommy Edman. WAR of 6.3, which was kind of surprising, but he did really make this team go. Really took care of the little things and was just a good piece around Goldschmidt and Arenado. I expect him to have another great year. I don't see him as high as MLB Network did, just because I think there's a few guys better, but nonetheless, he is more deserving to be on this list. 86, Sean Murphy, another traded catcher that moved from, as you can see, Oakland over to the Braves, and I love this trade for the Braves. They signed him to a 6-year extension as well, and I think if he can put up half of what he did last year, the Braves will take it. Maybe the power numbers will unlock here in Atlanta, but moving forward, I love this signing for the Braves. 85, I have Nathaniel Lowe, and I'm not built into the hype where everyone else is right now. He is a good piece nonetheless, but the 302 average, the OPS of 851, 27 home runs, 76 RBIs in 157 games, I think he is due for a slight downgrade this year of stats, but I don't think it's going to be anything too drastic. But he is a good player, but I just didn't see him being that high. In 84, I have Jazz Chisholm, one of my favorite players in the game to watch. His blue hair goes crazy, super electric, gives the Marlins what they need when he is on the field. That's the key thing. If he can stay healthy, Jazz is for sure going to be a top 50 player next year. No doubt in my mind, but he just needs to stay healthy and really get rid of that injury bug, because when he's on the field, the Marlins are a much better team. 83, I have Bobby Witt Jr., and a great rookie last year. Well, let's see what he can put up in his second year in the league. He went 20-20 last year. The average will more than likely increase this year after seeing a year of Major League pitching, and the Royals really got a good one here, holding down shortstop for their future. 82, Clayton Kershaw checks in here, and nonetheless, the ageless wonder is still firing curveballs past people. You can see those stats there. He really took care of business. Was injured for a brief amount of time last year, but when he started, he was electric and lights out. So he has to be on this list, of course, as he goes into another year with the Dodgers. 81, Teoscar Hernandez, who came over by trade, I believe. And this is a great pickup for the Mariners, to say the least. He really bolsters that outfield around Julio and Mitch Haniger. And now I think their outfield is complete. Maybe Kyle Lewis or Kelnick if they can figure it out. But Hernandez really gives them that piece and it factor, I think, that they were missing last year. They did have some solid guys, but Hernandez is a tough guy to pitch at, hitting .270 and has a decent on-base percentage. He is going to be around this ranking or even higher next year. At 80, we have our first relief pitcher in Devin Williams checking in here. After Hader got traded, he was just lights out with that under 2 ERA in 65 games played, 15 saves, and 96 Ks. So he's averaging almost a strikeout and a half per inning he is pitching. And the Brewers, maybe got the right decision. keeping Williams and getting rid of Hader after his recent struggles last year. But Williams is a great piece for this Brewers bullpen, as they always have great pitching. 79, one of my favorite players in the game, Matt Chapman, checking in here. And, he had kind of a down year in his first year in Toronto, but I think he is a big bounce back candidate for a lot of people, just because, he still hit 27 home runs. His power was still there. He's still healthy, nothing too crazy. His on-base percentage was great, but I think he just, hit the ball hard, just right at people last year, and that's just how it works. So I think this year, Matt Chapman's looking like a 250 hitter and plus. 78, Cedric Mullins checking in for his second straight year from Baltimore, having as not as good of a year as he did the year before. I think he was a 30-30 candidate, but his power numbers slightly dipped. I do think he can up that again. Maybe not 30-30, but I think he could be at least a 20-20 guy after this year, especially with the Orioles' talented roster now, and could be a surprise pick. 77, Nestor Cortez. I did not like his ranking on MLB Network of 91. I thought he deserved more credit than he was given. The lefty that doesn't blow it by in Yankee Stadium, taking care of business with a ERA of 2.44. That's tough to do in that stadium if you're not top tier pitching. And he really showed last year that he was. And I expect a good performance from him this year, but let's see if he can put up almost a repeat performance. 76, we got another Brewers pitcher in Brandon Woodruff. He had an excellent year as always for the Brewers. I just think he is going to have to take a bigger role moving forward, as Corbin Burns and Woodruff, who knows what they're going to do for contracts and whatnot moving forward. And if he really wants to get the most money he can, he has to have a great year this year, and I think he will. And last, for our 100 through 75 rankings, we have Christian Javier clocking in at 75. He was a player that was long reliever and then starter and then long reliever again and then starter, and I think they just need to full-time make him a starter. He was excellent on the mound last year. Look at those Ks, 194, almost 200 strikeouts last year with a whip under 1. The ERA almost 2.5, and he just seemed like he missed a lot of bats last year. He does need to get his walks down a little bit, but if he can do that, then no doubt he will be a top 50 player next year. But that's going to be it for the video today. Make sure you guys come back tomorrow and check out our other video for MLB Top 100 Players re-rank for 75 to 50. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.
Recording stopped.